Join us for the unveiling.
The launch of the private sector-led and government-enabled program is designed to mobilize food production and processing in special zones in Nigeria. $583 million have been mobilized for the first phase, which will be implemented in 7 states in Nigeria.
If the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones program delivers on its objectives, and we have no doubt that it will, then we would, in less than a decade, deal a fatal blow to food insecurity. We will create millions of good-paying jobs, and we will create an agro-industrial opportunity such as has never been seen on this continent at least.
Described as the biggest agro project of its kind in Africa, SABS has been described as a game changer in the mission to end food poverty and transform Nigeria's rural economy from zones of economic misery to economic prosperity. But not much will be achieved if the fundamental issues bedeviling the sector are not addressed.
The African Emergency Food Production Facility provided $134 million to Nigeria, one of the highest levels of support across African countries. We must act faster to avert a food crisis in Nigeria. It is worrying that these emergency funds approved since July of 2022 for emergency food production have yet to be signed for implementation by Nigeria.
While he calls for greater action in the sector, the governor of Cross River State, representing the benefiting states, drops some hard truths.
Only way we can stop African hunger is to ensure that every single dollar, every single coin coming out of this project has its manifestation in practical results. The empiricism of that will lead to the food sufficiency that we all seek. Shamefully, Cross River State government brought in a Dutch company, Henneman, into Nigeria to do land clearing and land preparation. For 6 months, all their materials are stocked in Nigerian ports. They're in court today because they can't simply clear land clearing equipments. Unfortunately, as a state, we're helpless because the customs insist on getting their funds. And the various taxes and charges that keep growing. And when I sit back and look at the cost of clearing, and I just sympathize with us as we build these factories, where the raw materials, the logistics support, the off-take mechanism, where is the money to buy off and serve as the off-takers?
Nigeria's agric sector has been dealt a heavy blow in the past few years. Its crisis further exacerbated by recent floods, which have inundated over 100,000 hectares of farmland.
I am also delighted to announce today a special new significant contribution by IFAD for Nigeria in response to the flooding. This is a grant funding of almost $5 million to be invested in climate-resilient agriculture.
The Islamic Development Bank Regional Hub of Abuja team is working on the second phase of the National Program for Food Security project to be approved before the end of this year for an estimated $30 million.
Hopefully, the funds will be channeled to the cause for which it was given soonest. The Africa Development Bank is also investing over $1 billion in special agriculture processing zones on the African continent. Onyi Sunday, Arise News.